Let's work on our block entity for fluid containers. Hello everyone, this is Ali Reza. Welcome to the Mentor Code Lab. Before I start the JiFluid BE, I should mention that when I wanted to publish to Maven Local, I had few errors because remember we dropped few interfaces and changed things around. One was inside the J inventory. I think that I had to change the name somewhere inside here for the imports, but the more important one was on content drop because it would extend another interface. Now I'm extending iStorage connector of inventory connector of the simple inventory. This is one of the changes that we had. It's simply just replacing the interfaces and assigning the proper generics. The other one is inside the screen handler. We had the T extending block entity and iStorage provider. Now we have to add the iStorage connector of type inventory connector of type anything because the get connector is now sitting inside this interface. Finally, the client inventory, again, we have to add a storage. It was add inventory. We had to change the name to add storage here. Anyways, all of these are done. We have errors in fluid connector that make return inventory storage. Wait, why should I return inventory storage now? I did change this guy to fluid container. Here we go. It's not inventory storage, it's a storage of fluid variant. That's that one, and that is being fixed. We are saying that T extends single fluid, and here, can we send back the T now? Yeah, we can send the T back, and I'm happy with that because I don't want to go into that rabbit hole again. Finally, we are ready for our block entity. Now, let's take a look at the block entity that we had inside the J inventory because it's almost identical. We are only providing a connector and then adding different helpers and then read and write the NBT that handles the keys properly and then unblock replaced. Should our block entity has any inventory or not? Problem is that if our block entity will have an inventory, I should change the order of things. Basically, JiFluid will now extend from J inventory to have this inventory connector and get free of many of these things. The only thing is that then I need to read and write the NBT, get my own connectors, things like that, add the providers for the inventory. And by the way, we have inventory provider, I think that I can implement iStorage provider of type B again, and it should be happy override on these. So this will be an override, or this will be none of these are override. What's going on here? Is this no? Wait, iStorage provider should get a storage provider, get a storage provider. Yeah, we can't do that. We can't do that because if anyone adds anything on top of inventory, like what we want to do right now, then we will have a problem. This guy is handling iStorage provider and it is having these get a storage provider. Now I should be able to say that get a storage provider, and here we don't have facing. God damn it. Okay, this is why I did remove that interface usage, isn't it? Problem is that these things should sit in different way. For example, let's think about a real scenario. We have a block that has facing property. In its block entity, we want to get inventory storage. This is the direction not related to facing. Here is the thing. If I want to be smart and handle everything, I should check that. Let's write it. I should check that if the block has facing. If that's the case, then I want to retrieve the facing, use inventories get provider. If it doesn't has anything, then we want to continue with the thing that we have below. Now here's the question. How can we check if the block has any facing? We can say if world.getBlockState at the position. How can we retrieve if it has the facing? Get properties dot contains return true if this collection contains the specific element. More formally, returns true if and only if the collection contains at least one element such that it can fulfill reveal the equality. Okay, contains properties dot facing. What did you import as properties now? Java util properties. No. Yeah, Minecraft one. Now here's the question. Is horizontal facing a type of facing? Go to implementation. Actually, it's not there. So inside the static, horizontal facing is type enum property of facing, and take note, this guy is the same thing. Direction, class, type, horizontal. So it's the same type of enum in the memory. It's just facing. So it should work. Get block state. What's wrong with you? Assert word is not null. Yes. Well, instead we can say if word equals to null, then no, please return null. Okay. Then if it has the facing, we will say return this dot inventory dot get the storage provider for the direction. And then, we need the facing. Word dot get block state at the position dot get property of properties dot facing. That is our facing direction, and we have the direction. Otherwise, return that. Now, same thing is happening here, and that should be it basically. And it will retrieve an inventory storage based on our inventory. Hopefully that will work. Now, if we want to have something like this inside our block entity, it's just a copy paste. Instead of inventory storage, we need to retrieve a storage of type fluid variant. That's the whole thing. Do we want to have inventories inside our fluid in block entities or not? Because let's face it, if we want to have a block entity that contains an inventory, we want to have a way to set the fluid in and get the fluid out of it. There is a method so that when I have a bucket, for example, a bucket of water, I can right click on the block and it will transfer the water into the container. Or I can right click with an empty bucket and retrieve the fluid if it can. Another alternative way is that I will have two slots inside the inventory, one for the full bucket, one for the empty bucket, and I can constantly provide it with buckets. The difference between these two methods is that the first one can't be used by something like hoppers. For example, if you have some machine that will fill buckets with water and send it to a hopper, and you have a chain of hoppers that will transfer it to your container, well, you can't, because that container has no inventory. On the other hand, if you have inventories, then yes, you can have buckets that will sit inside the inventory, and yes, the hoppers now can fill the inventory with the buckets, and you can retrieve empty buckets, and the whole chain can continue. So I would say we want inventory inside our fluid container. However, when we go into energy, I'm not sure. That's another story. I will see. So if I want my JiFluid to be able to carry out the inventory, it will have to have the screen. Oh God, it will have to have a simple inventory and everything that it's carrying on right now. And I take back my word, then I will need a screen, although the screen would be JInventory screen handler. We don't need to do anything else there. So the problem is that right now I don't have access to JInventory here because it's not part of my dependencies. As you see, really I don't need G-reference here. No. So I will nuke this one. However, now I need to be dependent on the inventory. Thankfully, I didn't nuke these guys. Okay, let's open the Ultra IO because I have the dependency there. I can just use a copy paste. So copy and go back to the build.gradle here and paste. But this means that I need to move my JInventory before JiFluid and change these numbers because this tells my system how the whole thing works. And when I'm updating my Mavens and syncing my system, I go from top to bottom because I know when I'm going down, I already solved all the dependencies on top. I will do it between the episodes. So this will become 10, this will become 9. And God, I think I need to actually, let's see, can I do a rename directory here and make it 10? I hope I can do that. It will detect Minecraft and everything, but I think I can do that. Come on, finish your indexing. Yes. Then I should be able to rename this guy to be 09 and hopefully it will go up. Now, previously, I would do that by closing the IntelliJ IDEA, renaming the folders, nuking the .idea on the root folder, and then come back, and many things would be lost. For example, my builds are using clean task. All of that would be lost. However, now that I'm using predefined project names, I should be able to just rename the folders like that. Okay, that being said and done, for the BE, we will go with JiFluid BE. Let's close some of these that I don't need anymore. None of that, not that, not that. These are for the main mod. I will come back to them. I need to resync the Gradle so that it will pull down the dependency for the J inventory, and hopefully it will drop reference. I will look at that. Let's just unlink Gradle project. Thank you. Then Loom Cache. The only thing that I changed is these guys. So delete these. We don't need to include it. Careful about that one. Link Gradle project. And foolishly enough, it's trying to sync everything, and it's even failing on J inventory. I tell you, I did sync J inventory like 15 minutes ago. Did I change anything inside J inventory? So I need to nuke the J inventory. It's locked. It's being used. Okay. Test mod needs to stop. Come on, we'll try. Oh, stop. I told you to stop. It becomes really laggy when it's trying to do all of these at the same time. Thankfully, only my main mods are depending on J inventory right now, other than JiFluid. And you see, now JiFluid is finished. I don't understand. I really don't understand. Anyway, the J inventory, I am gonna nuke it from my Maven the moment these guys are finished. Now let's see if I can nuke the J inventory now. Yes, then I need to publish it to Maven again because I did change these stuff, and go back to this guy here, Gradle, Loom Cache, Remapped, Jiraya, inventory, delete that one. Okay, now I have problem with this publish to Maven. It says connection reset. Things are being funny right now. Yeah, it's connection reset. And now inventory is failing. So let's close the IntelliJ idea and I will come back when it's up and running again. Okay, for some reason my J inventory is trying to download something, and Fabric API is there. Let's take a look. Gradle, Loom Cache, Remap Jar, Net, Fabric MC. Okay, we have Fabric MC, Fabric API. I'm not sure what it is trying to download. Let's do this. I will open this .gradle from GUI. Open this .gradle inside Explorer, because right now when I'm recording the video, I don't have access to internet, believe it or not. So I will copy things from GUI here, and please, yes, replace everything. Then inside Loom Cache, again, I will copy paste everything other than the remapped. Inside remapped, I will ignore Jiraya because it's right now empty, but I will copy paste the net folder. It was missing few things. Okay, it was actually missing few things. Okay, here is the Jiraya one. Now, can you sync now? It's still trying to download something. Gradle, why are you trying to download Gradle? Oh, I think I know what's going on. Unlink it. Yeah, that's the reason. I changed the folder names. It will screw up everything inside the hierarchy here. Oh, link again, and the whole process of tens of Gradle stacks, and I will come back when they are done. Okay, other than the JiFluid and our mods, everything is synced. These will fail because they are depending on the inventory, and the inventory is not there. So let's see if we can publish to Maven now. And yes, it started. So note to yourself, if you are changing the folder names, you need to unlink the project and link it back so that the Gradle buffer here will sync itself. Now we should be able to sync the fluid again, and it should work. Okay, became success. Now I need to right click on JiFluid after it's done, let it do its job, and reload from disk just in case it needs to, indexing things again. Okay, now for us, we need to extend the J inventory BE. However, we have the T and B that we can cover here, thankfully. And here we say that it's J inventory of T, comma, B. It should be happy. Now it will say that, hey, implement the methods, and the methods are get connector, get display name, get menu. Okay, now get connector of T. Oh, okay. For get connector, this is abstract. Because of that, I didn't implement the get connector here, didn't I? If I remove the abstract, it will let me that I need to implement that method. Get connector, I will just implement the get connector. And here I can implement the inventory and now make it abstract. No, abstract. And when I come back here, I don't need to have the connector. This.inventory should be available for us there. Get display name and things I can ignore because this will be an abstract class. But let's create constructor matching super. And I will take this guy to my second monitor to compare things. Of course, I will have problems in my main mod, but here I'm assigning the inventory and I'm making it updatable and syncable with NTIC. So I don't need to do those things here. However, this is interesting. Why do I have to do this all the time? It is extending G-screen BE. Where is this get connector comes from? If I remove it, it is coming from iStorage connector. The funny fact is that it's extending the G-inventory BE and G-screen. So G-screen is not extending anything. Actually, it's extending block entity, and here extending block entity. So why am I forced to have inventory connector? I content drop. Here we go. I storage connector, and this guy is get connector. There we go. That's the problem. And this is inside their base. God damn it. Okay. Wow. The problem is that I have problem with this iStorage connector because you see, it's forcing me to go for inventory connector because we are B simple inventory, and each time I'm implementing that method, it's asking for the inventory connector of B, and the name is just get connector. Now, here's the problem. For inventory connector, that's okay. For fluid connector, gas connector, or anything else, it will not be okay. If I want to make things really abstract and still being able to use it the way I intend to use it, let me have this guy in here. And by the way, this is T. Wow. And this is the guy. So I really can't do that, can I? In other words, my content drop can't use this guy. Shame. Our content drop. Because the problem is the naming. And as I said, naming your API is important. So how to change this guy? iStorage connector sits inside base. And I was really hoping that, you know what? I can make the fluid not extend the J inventory and then reinvent the wheel, or I can change this guy to I inventory connector and move it inside J inventory again and not inside base. Or alternatively, I can have an interface here that says I was really trying to avoid this I inventory connector that extends I storage connector, and this will be T extends a simple inventory, and this will be type T. So now if I go back to my block entity, I content drop, sorry, instead of I storage connector, if I go with I inventory connector, and oh, this is inventory of T. So let's get that. It's I storage connector of inventory of T. Then here I should be able to say, can I use it like this? I can't. Inventory connector of T. What's wrong with you? Type parameter is not within its bounds. Should extend the simple inventory. To extend simple inventory, I storage connector of this. Oh, okay. So it should be T, nothing else. Like so. And if I go back to my block entity, this should work. Let's change the name here. Oh, this is meaningless, isn't it? I storage connector. Yeah, this is meaningless because I will go back to this name. So let's copy this. And here I will say it's not extending anything other than this. And what was this here? It's just generic, pure generic T-get inventory connector. So now, if I remove the abstract, yeah, you see that it's already yelling here because it should be inventory connector. And now I can remove this guy on top. Everyone's happy? Now, I will leave that generic one in here in the base because someone may want to use it himself as he see fits, and it's okay. So why not have that interface there? But in our special case, if we are working with inventory, then we have the get inventory connector. And it means that in here, I need get inventory connector. Now inside our fluid block, we will have get inventory connector, and we don't need to overwrite it. Okay. Again, I need to resync my mavens so that I know what I'm doing. Thankfully, it shouldn't be too much. I just need to publish the inventory to Maven. It's already done. Go into the fluid, remove the loom cache for the inventory. I'm not sure it will replace itself or not, but because the versions are the same, it may ignore it because I think it checks the versions first. Okay, then sync the Gradle project. Done. Wait for the indexing to be finished once. Reload from the disk so that everything will work. Now I can remove this inventory connector from top, and it should be happy. Now we can continue. For this guy, we need a protected final fluid connector of type. Now I need to add something else. Good. It's interesting. Extends simple fluid storage, single, not simple. And here we will add that C, comma C, not there. Happy? That's T and B. So fluid connector of type C, and then we call it fluid storage. Now I can keep that one as inventory on the J inventory because inventory is always inventory. Inside my fluid ones, now I need my interface. So package interfaces. And again, I need to mimic that interface again. Now we don't need content drop, but we need this guy. So I will copy this whole thing and this will become iFluid connector, new Java class and its interface iFluid connector, and then paste everything. But here I will say get fluid connector, and what's wrong here? Remove that part. Now we can say we are implementing the iFluid connector of type C, I hope, and it means that now I should be able to say implement methods get fluid connector, and it will return C. What did I do wrong? It should be inventory connector of blah. Okay, then it should be inventory, no, fluid connector. Fluid connector, actually not here. Here, it will return a fluid connector of type T. There we go. So inside here, let's remove this guy. Let's re-import it so that we make sure that it will return a fluid connector of C, and this will return the fluid storage. Good. Now that we have the thing got out of our system, here we can say the fluid storage is equals to new fluid connector, and that's it. Because we are calling the super is already updating, syncing, and everything else. That's the beauty of object-oriented programming here. Ignoring these two methods, we want to first, I'm looking here, okay? I will bypass this. I don't need these things because I already solved them. Read and write NBT. So we go with read, and before that I will go with write. Here the order is important, unlike when you are using vanilla, because vanilla super is empty, but here we say after the super, well, we are writing first. So for writing, actually let me be consistent with my other block entities. Okay, we will read and write. For write, we say NBT dot put, not long, put the fluid dot, let me take a look. Yeah, here is the wrong thing. Good thing that I checked it. We are saying inventory dot has inventory. Now guess what? Has inventory is already adding the dots, so we don't need that dot there. Okay, same thing here. You'll say fluid plus the BE keys dot has fluid, that's our key. Then we will go with the fluid container, that is fluid storage dot write NBT with the registries. Simple enough. For reading that, we will say if NBT dot contains the key that we already established is fluid. Actually, this is a very stupid naming because it says dot BE has fluid. The thing is that we need mod IDs. However, we don't have mod IDs. And what I'm doing here is saying that fluid.be has .fluid. You know, it's something derpy there, but this is keys inside the NBT. So I will pass that derpiness there. NBT.get, again, we need the key, and this should be get list because this is a list. Then if present, the NBT element goes into, we say fluid storage dot read NBT with NBT element and registers. That's our read NBT. Then we have these get inventory storage for the directions. These will make things sided. And finally, we are getting the provider. Now, am I duplicating myself? Get inventory connector. That's the same thing. Bye-bye. So we need to give those two methods. And here we will say public storage of fluid variant. What's wrong with you? And we get the fluid storage for the direction. Yes, direction. Now, basically, we want the same thing. Let me copy it. I think we will have a hiccup here. Instead of inventory, we want this fluid storage. Oh, it worked. Nice. Fluid storage. It is working. Okay. This method should be able to read the other one. So return the get inventory storage, the map direction dot to direction. Same thing should happen here. So we will say this same method, but this is mapped direction. And here we will say return get fluid storage for mapped direction dot to direction, the direction. Hopefully things will work. If it's not working, we can always overwrite these things in any block entity if we want to. Now, unblock replaced will not need to be changed because we don't want to spill our fluid on the ground. My read NBT is completely empty in inventory inventory connector. Did I delete it or did I not finish my inventory connector? God damn it. What's going on here? Let's fix this one really fast. Good thing that I noticed this. If it was wrong, then how was my NBT reading and writing in my cleaner screen handler so far? Okay, so we say for I, and this is index. Good to find this guy. Is smaller than nbt.size. NBT compound equals to nbt.get compound or empty for the index. Simple inventory. Inventory equals to new simple, not new. God damn it. This dot inventories at index inventories with capital I dot read NBT for the NBT compound and inventory dot get held stacks and registry lookup. Now, if I want to look, this add storage output inventory. Oh, okay. It was not working to begin with, and we call it add output storage. Can we do that? The inventory and then direction. Will this work? No, we have the same problem here because it says cast first argument to T. It means that we will downcast it to be simple inventory. So it will lose some of its data. Okay, we can't do this. And why are you guys inside region NBT? Okay, good to know. Okay, we can't do that. It's up to the users. And why are you yelling at me now? It's not within its bound because I think I have this problem here. Yeah, so we can't add our helper methods. God, I hate that. Anyways, I can't see anything that can be done here anymore. Good thing that I found that read NBT error inside our G inventory. In the next video, we have one little thing that I need to add. Honestly, right now, if I take a look at my notes, that's exactly what I want to have. And that is a block that will interact with any item in your hand.
If you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on that bell so that when I publish a new video, you will get informed. Have fun, everyone. Bye.